Hello YouTube, my name's Marie, and today let's talk about the first 6 episodes of the Netflix original series, Mr. Sunshine. So I'm just going to start off by reading the Netflix summary of the show, or like the overview that they give you on the website, because I'm going to talk a little bit more, give a little bit of kind of spoilers for the first episode. So if you don't want to hear my summary for it, this is the official one, okay? So a young boy who ends up in the US after the 1871, I'll put it on the screen, Shim Young Yo? Shim Young Yo? This is coming from a person who's trying to learn Korean, but it's written in English, so after that incident returns to Korea at a historical turning point and falls for a noblewoman. There's not really much else going on in that summary. You know, he lived in the US, now he's back in Korea, he falls for a noblewoman. That's all you get from that. But I like to know more, like I need to know more, a little bit about a show before I watch a little bit more. So I will put the time slot of when I stop talking about spoilers for that first episode right here. So you can skip ahead if you'd like. If not, I'll give you a second. Okay, ready? All right. This show follows Eugene, who fled to America as a child. I believe he was around 10. After his parents were murdered. Slave parents. That's important. Having been born a slave, as a child he endured treatment typical of someone of his social standing at that time period. So Eugene feels no love or kinship towards Korea or towards the people of Korea. At this time period, it was known as Joseon. I hope I'm saying that right. He's happy to have left. So now he's in America, and to establish himself as an American citizen, he joins the military. Jump forward in time to when our story starts. Eugene has moved up in the ranks of the military, and I'm not a military person, so I couldn't tell you squat about what his title is. I think they've called him captain. But he's high up. People salute him. He's in charge. They follow his orders. So he's a significant figure within the American military. And he is stationed in Joseon. There he meets a beloved noblewoman secretly fighting. And I do mean fighting. This woman is deadly with a gun. And I love it. And she is fighting for Joseon's independence. Now, their instant chemistry and quite obvious romantic attraction is complicated, as neither character is really sure if the other is friend or foe. Okay, so that is the end of that little spoiler section. My first impression of this show, of Mr. Sunshine, is that it is beautifully shot. 6 minutes in, I knew, I was like, this is a show of quality, and I'm gonna enjoy it. There is an artistic flavor to how every scene is set up and shot, whether it's from the color grading to the music to the overall backdrop of everything. It's a very beautiful looking show. However, it's not glamorizing life, I guess. For every gorgeous, breathtaking sunset, there's a brutal portrayal of war and violence and death. So it's a very balanced show. But I can't talk about how visually engrossing this show is without mentioning the green screen. Particularly in the sequences that are supposed to take place in America, the green screen is really obvious. And I can totally understand how some people might not like it, but for me, the quality of the green screen is very reminiscent of how in like old time movies they would have full sized paintings of the backdrop that were like hyper realistic. Like, I'm talking shows like Sound of Music or Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. Like, if you've seen those kind of old-timey shows, you know, like, the backdrop is all painted. There's an artistry to it. So in Mr. Sunshine, for those scenes that are set in America where you can tell that it's green screen, to me, I would not be surprised if I found out that that wasn't green screen and it was actually a practical set piece, like a practical painting, because that's what it reminded me of. So I didn't mind it. Now, I kind of want to touch on a few of the themes that I'm picking up right away from Mr. Sunshine, and the first being an emphasis on the strength of motherhood. In the first episode, you see two mothers, and they're both on opposite ends of the social hierarchy, but regardless of their social standing, you see these two mothers acting in acts of bravery to save their children and to save other people that they care about, or, you know, stand up for their country or what they believe in. And these women left such an impression on me that I'm willing to forgive the show's lack of female characters for the rest of these 6 episodes, because I thought the mothers in this first episode were done so well and very respectfully. I found them to be an effective way of showing the strength of women at that time period who were second class. Now, the second theme is kind of 2 parts, I'd say. It's one of an immigrant story, but then it's also very pro-America. And I hope I'm going to explain this properly, because even though I watch it and I understand it and I sympathize, I don't necessarily relate to this story or this theme. So Eugene is a character who has abandoned his country of origin as much as it's abandoned him. Like, his country of origin being Korea or Joseon at that period. So when he leaves and he comes to America, he firmly wants to establish himself as an American citizen, and that is why he joins the army. However, he's still in this gray area, or kind of in this in-between place, because there's always that question of, where are you from? Nobody looks at him and says, oh, you're an American first. So he is an outsider within America, but then when he goes to Korea, he's an outsider there as well, because despite looking like the common people there, he wears foreign clothes and he speaks a foreign language, and he consistently corrects people that he's American and not Korean. So I can see this being a theme that a lot of people can relate to, like I said earlier. Like, say if you're biracial, and there's always that question like, oh,
I don't want to sound rude, but what are you, or where do you come from?
Or even if you are a child of immigrants, you know, you grew up in a country, you're accustomed to that country's culture, but your historical and ancestral roots are always somewhere else. So it's like, I can see that identity, not a crisis, but identity. And I can see the show taking this theme or this thread in a couple different ways, and I'm not sure which one I think would be best or what I would like to see more, so let me know which one you would prefer. And the first is, you know, he stays very firm in the fact that he's American, and you see him be completely accepted by the American people. Or, as the show progresses, he becomes more and more interested in the Korean culture, and he wants to, you know, find his roots. I think both options are probably true to somebody's story out there, so I don't think either one would be wrong or either one is right. The only problem that I can see is that there is a scene, episode 5 or 6, around there, where a character says, if you're born a slave, you're always a slave. And I can see that kind of being translated to, oh, if you're born Korean, you're always Korean, or something like that. And I don't like your identity being predetermined by the chance of your birth. but that could also be because I don't feel like I have a strong culture. Anyways, getting off on a tangent. Okay, to kind of close this off, I'm going to say that this show, Mr. Sunshine, I can tell that it's made with a Western audience in mind. However, those K-drama influences, I'm going to say that, K-drama influences are still there. The K-drama influences that I'm talking about is like those really small moments. For instance, when the two leads see each other. If you've watched that, you're gonna know what I'm talking about with the lights and all that stuff. That felt very K-drama-y to me. And also the love triangle square star thing going on, also very K-drama-y. And I don't personally like it. Mostly because I'm never surprised. The leads are always gonna end up together. There's never an upset, you know, the female character never picks the second male lead or anything like that. So I don't see the point in having so many potential romantic interests for someone when you know that there's not even a chance that they're going to end up with someone that you don't expect. So I feel like the only reason why that they do that is to make the female character seem more appealing or more worthy of being the female character, like the female lead, because look, all these men love her or are interested in her or want to be with her. And I think that's just give our female lead enough credit, especially this female lead, because she's a very compelling character. I love her. I love the actress that plays her. Her acting is very complex. She gets a lot across with simple looks, and she also has an extremely regal, noble way about her. Like, I believe that she is a noblewoman. I have one main problem with this show. There are a lot of different languages being spoken. There's Korean, there's Japanese, and then there's English. The English accent, like the American accent, is weird. I can't quite put my finger on it. I feel like they're trying to overcompensate or really pronounce things correctly or something so that the Korean audience, if they don't read the subtitles, they might understand. I'm not sure. There's something weird going on with the English speaking that I notice in a lot of other K-dramas as well. Like, whenever there's an English speaking character, they talk a little weird. My main issue, because I can overlook that, whatever. My main issue is that the subtitles don't change for when someone's speaking Japanese or when someone's speaking Korean. I think I'm pretty good at distinguishing just by ear if it's the Korean language or the Japanese language. There's still several moments where I halfway through the conversation, I'm like, oh, I actually think they're speaking Japanese. That sounds very Japanese. So it's a little bit disorienting that way. I wish, like, Japanese was, like, say, a yellow subtitled font or something. Just something different so that you would know right away that they're speaking Japanese and not Korean. Because I can kind of tell, but I'm still frustrated, so I know that other people are going to get really annoyed. Anyways, I think I've rambled enough. I hope going forward there's more action, there's a little bit more action. There was at the start, and then it kind of slowed down a little bit, and I hope it goes back up. Oh my god, that fish is still alive! You have to see this. Go. Oh, right there? I haven't seen him in forever. I thought he was dead. Okay, have a good night. Have a good day. Bye!